mystic 𝓜𝓂𝓜.
Welcome, interstellar travelers. Tonight we journey through the hidden triangles of Earth. My thought is that a vortex is a natural energetic crossroads, a place where Earth's magnetic forces, ocean currents, and atmospheric energy all spiral together. And in places like the Bermuda Triangle and other mysterious zones, that convergence can bend navigation, affect perception, and amplify unexplained phenomena, making it feel like reality itself is just slightly out of alignment. Vortexes of the Earth, real or legend, thousands have vanished, and some say these places hum with unseen energy. Let's sail into the unknown, exploring the most mysterious corners of our world. Hold on tight, it's time to step into the unknown. Our first stop is the Bermuda Triangle, a stretch of the Atlantic Ocean roughly bounded by Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. Known as the Devil's Triangle, it has been linked to countless disappearances of ships and planes. The first major incident that caught global attention was the disappearance of Flight 19 in 1945. 5 Navy bombers vanished, and the rescue plane sent after them disappeared as well. Scientists propose many theories: sudden methane gas eruptions, compass deviations, rogue waves. Yet folklore adds a layer of mystery. Columbus himself noted strange lights in the sky here in 1492, describing waters that glowed and moved strangely beneath his ships. But here's something less known. Recent studies show the Bermuda Triangle sits atop a unique geomagnetic anomaly, a subtle but measurable disturbance in Earth's magnetic field, strong enough to influence navigation and even animal migration. Some researchers suggest these anomalies could subtly distort perception, creating what feels like time slipping or objects vanishing unexpectedly. Across the Pacific near Japan lies the Dragon's Triangle, also called the Devil's Sea. Known for disappearing vessels, it has been a place of awe and fear since ancient times. Japanese folklore speaks of sea dragons and gods protecting sacred waters. Like Bermuda, magnetic anomalies abound here. Ships report compass variations of several degrees, sometimes even shifting mid-voyage. Unlike Bermuda, this triangle is also rich in geothermal activity, releasing gases and underwater currents strong enough to create whirlpools capable of swallowing small vessels. And here's a chilling detail. Some divers have reported unexplained white flash lights below the waves, almost like the ocean itself is alive, reacting to the energies beneath it. Let's travel north to the Alaska Triangle, stretching roughly from Anchorage to Juneau to Barrow. Unlike the oceanic triangles, this one is terrestrial, filled with dense forests, mountains, and vast wilderness. Missing hikers, pilots, and unexplained lights in the sky have given this area its eerie reputation. Some locals speak of ghostly lights dancing along the ridges, while others report strange feelings of disorientation. Scientific speculation points to geomagnetic anomalies and auroral energy interacting with human perception. Essentially, strong magnetic fields can subtly influence the brain, which might explain some of the reported hallucinations or time distortions. Lesser known, many of Alaska's lost planes have later been found hundreds of miles off course, suggesting invisible currents in both air and energy might be guiding their paths. The Nevada Triangle stretches across the skies of northern Nevada, encompassing the rugged Sierra Nevada and Great Basin areas. Pilots have long whispered about mysterious disappearances here, from small private planes to military aircraft. Strong mountain waves and turbulent air currents can appear suddenly, but locals have told stories of storm spirits, invisible forces that twist the wind and throw instruments off course. One infamous incident occurred in 1963 when a small Cessna vanished near the mountains during a routine flight. Search teams reported seeing strange, swirling clouds and hearing instruments go haywire before losing all contact. Some pilots speak of a sudden calm in the air, then being inexplicably miles off course, as if the vortex itself had redirected them. Magnetic surveys show subtle anomalies in the region, suggesting that the air, the mountains, and even the rocks themselves may subtly interfere with navigation. And yet those who vanish here are never found, leaving behind only the question, what invisible currents guide them, and where do they truly go? The Great Lakes Triangle sits in the deep waters of Lake Michigan, bounded roughly by Benton Harbor, Ludington, and Milwaukee. Fishermen and sailors report ghost ships appearing out of thick fog, compass needles spinning wildly, and instruments failing in the middle of calm waters. Some locals claim that sailors have experienced time gaps, moments where hours seem to disappear entirely. One notable story comes from 1891, when the schooner Thomas Hume vanished on a routine trip. Another ship reported seeing a strange glowing ship sailing in the fog, only to vanish before anyone could approach. Modern research shows the lake floor has unusual magnetic properties. Certain sections align with auroral and geomagnetic currents, creating small natural energy whirlpools, invisible but potent. Some sailors claim the lake doesn't just hide lost ships, but moments in time itself, swallowed and never returned. The Bridgewater Triangle spans roughly 200 square miles in southeastern Massachusetts, including the Hockomock Swamp. It has earned a reputation as a hub for UFO sightings, cryptids, ghost fires, and poltergeist activity. Locals report eerie mists that appear without wind, glowing orbs, and sudden chills. One famous tale is the story of the ghostly spectral fire near Freetown in 1970. Witnesses reported a moving light that hovered above the swamp for hours, defying explanation. Some researchers link this area's paranormal activity to its unusual geology. Iron-rich soil, underground waterways, and dense forests create micromagnetic anomalies, possibly amplifying human perception. Could this triangle be a convergence of terrestrial and psychic energies, amplifying what most of us cannot see? Many who enter report a feeling that the land itself is alive, as if it watches and waits, whispering secrets only some can perceive. Along Mexico's 30th parallel, near the Bolson de Mapimi, lies the Zone of Silence. Radios often fail, compasses spin unpredictably, and travelers report luminous beings gliding silently across the desert night. The area gained notoriety in the 1960s. When meteorites began falling unusually often, some claim to have been radioactive. One famous story tells of a U.S. Air Force team attempting to test radio equipment in the area. Every instrument failed, as if the desert itself absorbed electromagnetic signals. Some theorists suggest the region sits atop intersecting mineral and magnetic veins, creating a natural electromagnetic barrier. Indigenous stories speak of spirits who protect the desert, further adding a sense of mystical mystery to this remote vortex. And in that profound silence, one can't help but wonder, is it emptiness or something listening back? The South Atlantic Anomaly is a patch of weakened geomagnetic field over the South Atlantic Ocean, where Earth's protective magnetosphere dips closer to the surface. Satellites passing through this region often experience malfunctions, and some aviation instruments behave erratically. It's also a hotspot for mysterious sightings. Sailors have reported strange lights in the water and sudden compass deviations. Geophysicists suggest that this anomaly could act as a subtle gateway for energetic currents, linking Earth's internal energy with space weather effects. Some even speculate that this vortex may influence migratory patterns of birds and marine animals, subtly redirecting life itself. It is a reminder that unseen forces can shape our world and that the earth may have secrets we have only just begun to notice. Easter Island, remote in the South Pacific, is famous for its massive moai statues, but beneath them lies a subtle energy vortex. Researchers have measured unusual geomagnetic activity here, stronger than expected for a small island. One local legend speaks of a glowing light that moves along the stone paths at night, guiding the living and honoring the dead. Some suggest the statues were placed precisely to align with celestial events and geomagnetic currents, hinting that the ancient inhabitants may have understood, in some way, the invisible energies beneath their feet. Could these energies have aided in the island's construction, or were they safeguarding something far older? Perhaps the moai stand not only as statues, but as silent guardians of a power the modern world cannot yet comprehend. Point Nemo is the most remote point on Earth's oceans, farther from land than any other place on the planet. Ships and satellites seem to vanish here, and the area has earned a reputation as the ultimate lonely vortex. Some oceanographers note strange currents converging below the surface, creating isolated energy patterns. One chilling story involves a research vessel that reported instruments going haywire, even GPS signals failing temporarily, as if the point itself refused to be tracked. Some theorists suggest that Point Nemo functions as a natural energy sink, pulling in geomagnetic currents from thousands of miles away, creating a vortex invisible to the naked eye, but tangible to those who pass through it. As ships and satellites drift past, one wonders, is it simply isolation, or is something in the deep silently guiding the currents of our planet? In Africa, a triangle spanning parts of the Congo Basin and southern deserts has earned a reputation for mysterious disappearances, strange animal behavior, and localized geomagnetic irregularities. Tribes speak of luminous beings, shifting landscapes, and areas where compasses spin wildly. One documented case involved a group of wildlife researchers who became disoriented in the dense forest, reporting phantom lights and sounds that seemed to mimic their own movements. The combination of underground mineral veins, geomagnetic hotspots, and human perception creates a vortex effect, a convergence of energies that can affect mind and instruments alike. It leaves the question lingering, are these energies natural phenomena or remnants of something older, waiting for discovery? Nestled along the mid-Atlantic ridge, the Azores sit at the intersection of three major tectonic plates, the North American, Eurasian, and African plates, making the region geologically and magnetically complex. Sailors have long reported sudden fog banks, compass deviations, and unexplained electrical failures near the islands. In 1873, a Portuguese naval vessel documented a magnetic disturbance so severe that navigational instruments spun erratically, forcing the crew to retreat to calmer waters. Modern studies confirm that volcanic activity beneath the seafloor can locally distort magnetic readings. And as waves churn around these volcanic isles, suspended between continents, one is left to wonder, are these disruptions merely geological side effects, or signs of a deeper Atlantic energy quietly surfacing? The narrow passage between Java and Sumatra is one of the most geologically active regions on Earth, shaped by powerful tidal currents, underwater volcanoes, and tectonic subduction zones. Ships have historically reported being pulled off course even in fair weather. During the catastrophic 1883 eruption of Krakatoa, surviving vessels described violent pressure waves, strange atmospheric effects, and sudden storms that appeared without warning. Ash clouds and electromagnetic disturbances from the eruption were detected thousands of miles away. Where ocean, fire, and earth collide so violently, could this strait form a natural vortex, one that responds not to maps or experience, but to forces far older than navigation itself? One of the busiest maritime corridors in the world, this region sits atop complex underwater terrain and intersecting ocean currents. For centuries, mariners have reported sudden compass fluctuations, unexplained fog, and brief instrument failures. Modern shipping logs occasionally note GPS disruptions and short-lived electronic interference, often attributed to atmospheric or geomagnetic conditions. The area's proximity to the equator also places it near zones of heightened ionospheric activity. Perhaps these waters are not silent highways at all, but dynamic thresholds, places where shifting magnetic fields quietly remind travelers that even the most familiar routes can behave unpredictably. Waters surrounding Cyprus have long been associated with rapid weather changes and localized magnetic irregularities. Ancient Greek and Roman records describe merchant vessels vanishing during routine crossings, sometimes with wreckage appearing years later along distant shores. Fishermen still tell stories of calm seas turning violent within minutes, without visible storms on the horizon. The region's unique convergence of sea currents and atmospheric systems continues to puzzle modern forecasters. Could the Mediterranean, cradle of civilization, still harbor unseen patterns where currents converge and perception subtly shifts just long enough to blur the line between chance and design? The Baltic Sea holds one of the most debated modern anomalies, a large circular formation detected by sonar in 2011, resting on the seabed. While scientists propose glacial or geological explanations, fishermen in the area have reported unusual currents, radio interference, and magnetic disturbances when passing overhead. The Baltic's low salinity and unique seafloor composition make it unlike most oceans, amplifying acoustic and electromagnetic effects. Is this anomaly merely an ancient scar left by ice and stone, or a reminder that even well-mapped waters may conceal forces we do not yet fully understand? Beyond the boundaries of the Bermuda Triangle, the Caribbean Sea has its own long history of maritime mystery. Strong, fast-moving currents such as the Caribbean Current and Loop Current can rapidly displace wreckage far from its origin. In the 18th and 19th centuries, sailors reported ships vanishing during calm conditions, only for debris to surface hundreds of miles away. Sudden tropical storms, known to form rapidly here, further complicate navigation. Perhaps these waters are not empty expanses, but part of a wider energetic network, where sea, sky, and motion conspire to erase certainty and reward only the attentive. Beneath the serene beauty of the Maldives lies a region shaped by deep-sea channels, powerful monsoon-driven currents, and subtle geomagnetic variations. Historical trade routes record ships being inexplicably redirected, while local fishermen still note erratic compass behavior near certain coral atolls. Scientific surveys confirm mild magnetic irregularities caused by seafloor composition and tectonic movement beneath the Indian Ocean basin. Could this oceanic crossroads be quietly shaping movement and momentum? A hidden vortex where paradise and unpredictability coexist? The waters around Madagascar and the South Pacific are influenced by the South Atlantic anomaly and vast intersecting current systems. Ancient seafarers spoke of storms forming without warning and waters that seemed to move against the wind. Indigenous island lore tells of regions best avoided, where the sea pulls differently. Modern satellite data confirms unusual geomagnetic readings and charged particle behavior across parts of this region. Is the South Pacific simply untamed by nature, or does it pulse with an energy that binds ocean, land, and sky into something far more interconnected than we once believed? From Bermuda to Alaska, from Mexico to Africa, Earth holds its secrets in these swirling vortices, points where magnetic currents, oceanic flows, and atmospheric energy twist together. Are they traps, tests, or keys to something far greater? Each triangle whispers the same tantalizing question: what is the planet hiding beneath its surface, and what happens when we start to truly notice? Interstellar travelers. This is just the beginning. The Earth's secret triangles pulse with life, energy, and mystery, and their stories are far from over. Could these be the only vortexes on Earth? Honestly, for me personally, I don't think so. Our planet is alive with motion, magnetic fields constantly shifting, ocean currents flowing endlessly, tectonic plates grinding beneath us, and charged layers of atmosphere swirling above. Whenever these forces overlap or intensify, vortex-like phenomena can naturally appear. The 19 regions we usually hear about aren't special because they're the only ones. They're special because something keeps showing up there again and again. Anomalies that won't stop being recorded, disruptions people repeatedly notice, historical stories that match modern observations, and scientific data that quietly hints that something unusual is happening. But why do we only know about a few? Many vortex-like zones probably exist where no one is watching, far out in remote oceans, hidden beneath ice sheets, on the deep sea floor, or across uninhabited deserts and mountains. Some may even appear only briefly before fading away. Without witnesses, we can't catalog them, and that's the thing. Just because we haven't seen them doesn't mean they don't exist. Science also supports this idea. Earth's magnetic field is constantly fluctuating, localized anomalies can form and dissolve, and ocean currents and atmospheric charges interact in ways we're still learning about. Put it all together, and it seems clear that vortex-like zones are probably far more common than we realize. They're just less dramatic, less dangerous, or simply go unnoticed. Until our paths cross again, stay curious, stay aware, and keep your eyes on the patterns hidden between myth, history, and the stars. Love, light, and cosmic blessings, Mystic Missy.